Ladies and gentlemen, here are 5 women who could possibly return in this year's Women's Royal Rumble match. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a video. Brandon here, your king of vlog style. Now this little top 5 video is actually brought to you by SeatGeek. So if you guys are looking for tickets for any event in the entire world, use SeatGeek, use code HODGE, just my last name, at checkout, and get $20 off any ticket for any event in the entire world. Now this is for first-time orders only, so if you used SeatGeek before, make a new account. You can still use my code and get $20 off any ticket for any event in the entire world just by using code HODGE on SeatGeek. So this year's Royal Rumble is looking pretty promising. I mean, last year's, let's just be honest, last year's Royal Rumble was a complete failure. It was a complete letdown. You know, guys, just personally, me, I drove 8 hours to the Royal Rumble last year. I drove from where I used to live in Tennessee all the way to St. Louis, Missouri, and it was horrible. It was like, I mean, I can't even say it was okay. It was a pretty bad Rumble, and even people backstage, even people who worked on the Rumble, putting the Rumble together, said, yeah, this year was kind of a letdown, wasn't it? We kind of dropped the ball, didn't we? So next year, we're going to make it like the greatest Royal Rumble ever. And next year, of course, is now. So this year's Royal Rumble is supposed to be freaking amazing. I've already done a top 5 video about the 5 people who return to the men's Royal Rumble match. Now it's time to do the women's video. So ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. Let's kick this off with number 5. Let's just kick this off with something that's probably completely unrealistic, but it would be like the biggest return on the women's division in like ever. So yeah, number 5, I want to put as AJ Lee. I know it's crazy. I know, yeah, it's not happening. Or is it? We never thought we'd see CM Punk back in wrestling, and you know, he came back to wrestling. Obviously, he's not in wrestling really anymore, or he could be in the future. I don't know. That's another discussion. I even mentioned Punk in the men's Royal Rumble video. Just something that's happening with Punk. But as for AJ Lee, I think she's probably done with wrestling, but if she wanted to do it just for one more night, Rumble's a good opportunity to do that. So AJ Lee, I'll put as number 5, even though it's probably definitely not ever happening, but you know, World of Wrestling, never say never. All right, number 4. Number 4, however, I believe is something that definitely will be happening. She's been in previous Royal Rumble matches. This is gonna be Beth Phoenix. So of course, Edge's wife. So she's gonna be coming back, and there's been a rumor going around for a while. She's wrestling at actually the I say almost Fastlane. Fastlane's not a pay-per-view anymore. It's only a few years. The spot that Fastlane had for a few years. When it was replacing Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber is now like back. So yeah, Elimination Chamber, there's a rumor Beth Phoenix is wrestling. She's tagging with Edge to take on the team of Finn Balor and actually Rhea Ripley. So there's a rumor Beth is wrestling in February anyway. So it's not a question she'd be in the Rumble. Of course, she's wrestled a little bit here or there. She retired, came out of retirement just like Edge did, wrestling you know, kind of a part-time schedule or whatever like that. Beth Phoenix, I believe she'll definitely be in the Royal Rumble match. She's been in previous ones. So out of everyone on this list, I think probably Beth Phoenix is probably the most likely. All right, let's bring this down to number 3. So number 3 is somewhat likely and unlikely at the same time. Number 3 is going to be Nia Jax. I know a lot of people do not like her. A lot of people consider her very unsafe in the ring, and I believe there is some truth to that. And I don't know if it's just like freak accidents, how she just has like really bad luck, like as things have just kind of happened, or if it's just a point where they're kind of like trying to push her up to the main roster too fast and she wasn't really ready from a training perspective. I really don't know. But basically, Nia Jax, you know, she got released for the WWE pandemic time. She hasn't really returned, obviously. There's been no talk of returns. She said she's done with wrestling and she's going full on, I believe, into like modeling now, I think Nia Jax is doing modeling or something like that, I heard. But basically, it's possible, especially with Triple H being head of creative. At the time of this recording of this video, he's head of creative. There's like some rumors going around Vince McMahon might be taking it back over. I know a lot of people are hoping not. I'm one of those people hoping not, but you never know. But I think with Triple H being there, he's brought back a lot of people who got released, including, you know, Bray Wyatt is like the biggest example of that guy, like someone who just a big name that got released during the pandemic. You never thought would happen, and it did happen. But Nia Jax is one. I feel like it was coming. It wasn't like a huge surprise. I didn't really think a release was coming. I thought they would like send her back to NXT or something for a little while, like they've done for other stars, but they just didn't do that. They released her. But nonetheless, Nia Jax, she could be returned. It could be for a one-night thing. It could be like an actual return to be like a back on a full-time wrestling contract. I don't know. And I don't know if this could ever happen, but Nia Jax is one name that wouldn't be a surprise if you consider that's a good surprise or a bad surprise That's up to you. All right, number two. Number two would be a very large surprise. It just recently released. It's been Mandy Rose. Basically, Mandy Rose got released. She got released like pretty recently, as we all know. So she posted some like non-company approved photos to her like personal public site for people subscribing to like that kind of thing. So hopefully what we're talking about here. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as some other people's content who are not obviously high-profile wrestlers like she was. I mean, I get why they released her. I also kind of get her perspective, like she wasn't doing this or that. Because I saw her interview where she was like trying to defend what happened. But basically, Mandy Rose will be back in the WWE. WWE will bring her back eventually. They just felt like there was getting so much publicity from these photos that were like found on the internet of her that they just kind of had to make some kind of like move on it. But they're going to bring her back eventually. Why wait until later this year when you could just do it now and have a great surprise for the Rumble match? It could happen, but is it going to happen? I think maybe it is a little too soon, just to kind of smooth over everything. I don't know, though, because they're trying to appease, I believe, the shareholders more than the fans, obviously, because the shareholders are like, this is a PG company, why is one of your stars posting non-PG content online, and it doesn't make sense to them or whatever, so they had to punish them so they wouldn't like drop in the stocks or whatever. But basically, Mandy Rose, I believe she will be back sometime in the future. I just don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be Rumble, but Rumble would be a great opportunity for a great fan reaction and something we're really not expecting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring this down to number one now. So number one, who is someone, when I'm thinking of the Women's Royal Rumble match this year, I'm thinking of the biggest surprise they could possibly do that everyone's been talking about for a while. Number one is actually going to be Naomi. So Naomi, of course, walked out of the WWE as well with Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has been doing stuff with New Japan, and I'm guessing she's going to be kind of obligated to New Japan for a little while. It's not going to be possible for a WWE return. I really don't know, but I'm thinking Naomi will be the only one out of the group of Naomi and Sasha Banks to be able to return. So Naomi would be number one for this list. Now, other people for this list, I was like thinking about like months ago when I was making this. I'm like, okay, so when we're talking like Women's Royal Rumble surprise returns, okay, we're going to have Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch will hold her off until January for a return. Obviously, they didn't hold her off until then. Another name recently I was thinking would be like a big surprise return for the Rumble would be Charlotte Flair. We haven't seen her in months, literally months. And she could be a big surprise for the Rumble. But of course, Charlotte Flair just recently returned as well. So those two women are not included in the list. So the biggest name I can think about is Naomi. Maybe I'm missing someone. Let me know down there in the comments. But ladies and gentlemen, that is 5 women I can see possibly returning to the Women's Royal Rumble match or returning to the WWE. Some of them completely unlikely. Some of them, yeah, it's probably happening. Let me know if I missed anyone and who you guys think in the comments section down below. But ladies and gentlemen, I am your king of vlog style, Brandon Hodge, and I will see you guys in the next video.